Yeah. We are live, we are live, we are live. Hello, 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 and welcome to Talk Talk Live. We are back here on IG and YouTube right now, simulcasting on both platforms. Hope you are well. Hope you are really, really well, and your week is going according to plan. Yes, it's been a cold week here in the city of Toronto, to be fair and frank. Oh, yeah. Winter is about to set upon us, and it's not exactly my finest and my happiest and favorite time of year. But again, with Christmas being here, it makes things a bit easier. I would say, summer is definitely number one for me. Fall number two. Then I would say, spring third, fall fourth. I'll say that. Spring third, winter fourth, because I think winter is just here in the city of Toronto, the country of Canada. It is only for the strong, and especially with those wind chills going up and the days getting shorter, and you being shortchanged any sort of heat whatsoever. So again, but it's something we have to endure, we have to get through, and that's what we do. So we're going to get through that as we do. I hope you had a great week. Hope everything is going fine for you. My Raps is playing in the background, seeing how they're doing over there. But again, big time show tonight. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube, sponsored by the people at Done Talk, DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Yes, we're going to talk about quite a serious topic. Last week we had a serious topic that we ended with P. Diddy and his legal issues right now, especially with his ex Cassie, and he's going through it right now. But is it deserved? Allegedly, it is. To be fair and frank, and there's too much evidence for him to settle for $30 million. Nobody wants to lose $30 million, especially if they would not put up a fight for it. Then something's amiss about it. But again, in the eyes of the court, in the eyes of jurisprudence, he's considered innocent. So again, that's what money can do for you. But there are more people coming out of the woodwork looking to seek their pound of flesh from Diddy, and he has many illegal foible and trouble upcoming, and the truths are starting to come out. So again, for Diddy, I wish him the best, but it's going to be a very tough road for the next several years in his capacity, especially with some of his displays of alleged violence, alleged sexual assault, alleged abuse, alleged, always alleged. Here on Talk Talk Live, you do know the legal ramifications of all said things. Anyways, back to it. Speaking of legal, we're off to family court now. We're going to deal with paternity fraud. Paternity fraud is again on the upswing, especially with ladies being more promiscuous these days, not knowing who fathers are, and with that, trying to claim fatherhood on innocent men, and them having to pay for that for the rest of their working lives, to be fair and frank. And we're just going to dig into it a little deeper today, because again, this is something that will and men will have to deal with for years to come. And, at the end of the day, it will be on the behest of men to be extra careful when it comes to, the doing the deed with ladies, because, again, that could put you on the hook for days, weeks, months, years to come. So it's always good to protect yourself at all times and realize that this world is getting colder and colder out there, and these ladies are no joke. They are looking to get their money however necessary. Luckily, I've been able to avoid such a bullet, but again, I still have to keep my guards up because, again, I do like, doing some sort of, being with the fair sex in the biblical sense. Anyways, back to it. Live here on Talk Talk Live, sponsored by Done Talk, DUNTALK.com. Like, subscribe, comment. On the road to 1,000 subscribers. What inspired me to do the show, you may ask? Well, it was this. Let's get to the browser right now, and let's get on to it. It was this by Chisha Zed. Chisha Zed is doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. Like, subscribe, comment to Chisha Zed right now. He is, his commentary is starting to become legendary in these YouTube streets. So again, I was watching this entry here on YouTube that says the disturbing rise of paternity fraud and false DNA results, and it made me think. Make me pause to think of all the innocent men out there who are on the hook to the tunes of hundreds of thousands of dollars for children that may not be theirs, number one. And number two, them having to pay for it because, well, the state doesn't want to pay for it themselves because they know that if paternity fraud was a move towards a higher scale, then the state would be on the hook to the tunes of millions of dollars, and they don't want that. They want men paying into the system they already have and them profiting from it. And you'll find that out tonight on Talk Live. But let's get into this video here by Chisha Zed, a very, very in-depth and very involved and very intriguing and enlightening video on paternity fraud in 2023 going into 2024. So let's get into it. Thanks very much for joining me on Talk Live. So let's get into it. Let's go. Sorry. Oh, I'm already at the end. I didn't even want to be the
coffee pot. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee. It'll make you feel better.
No more wasting time. Let's get it.
30% of the males who get DNA tested annually, according to the American Association of Blood Banks, which is the accrediting body for the DNA labs. This is over 44 DNA labs throughout the United States. They are testing close to 500,000 men per year, and over 30% of them have been confirmed that he didn't do it. 0.0% paternity.
All right, y'all.
All right, before we get into this next story, let that sink in. 30%. And this is a conservative estimate. 30% of men who have been DNA tested turned out not to be the fathers of children. Hey, you see it every day on shows such as Jerry Springer. You see it every day on shows such as Maury Povich. You see it every day on shows such as Judge Mathis. You see every day on new shows such as Paternity Court. There are actual shows dedicated to this issue. And the amount of stunned faces that are coming up as we move into 2023 and beyond is stunning. We used to think that one's paternity to their child is assured. However, that is indeed not the case anymore. You can never be fully trustworthy of women these days because sexual promiscuity is at its peak. Divorce is at its peak, and also, it just allows for ladies to sleep with a myriad of men. Their body counts are rising, and with that comes the issue of women having to answer to not only just one man, but 2 or 3 or 4 men, if not 5, 6, even 10 men in certain circumstances, depending on their how they carry themselves, to decide who the father really is. And the person that they would rather have, the person that they deem most trustworthy, the person that they deem to be a good father, is never really the father. He's just seen as a good provider, so therefore he would get the choice rather than the man who, gave them, the tingles in their loins, usually gets off scot-free. So it is, again, a statistic, and a huge statistic. 30% of DNA testing in the United States, and that can be extrapolated throughout the Western world. 30% of men who are DNA tested are not fathers for their children. That is staggering. So 1 out of 3 men are not the father. Yet, the state have plans for them. But let's continue this.
Have to do this video. Damn, we're already getting all snot. I didn't even...
Thank you for joining us today and sharing this secret with us.
Hey, I'm very nervous, sorry.
No, that's...
Yeah, so I do have a baby with another man, and my husband does not know. We've been together over 7 years.
Now, a man who discovered after being diagnosed with the life-limiting illness cystic fibrosis that he couldn't be the father of his 3 sons because the condition causes lifelong infertility. Doctors revealed in 2016 that Richard Mason couldn't be the dad to the children, who are now 19 and 23. Well, we spoke to Richard and his current partner, Emma.
When the discussion then turned to fertility, and he said, look, yourself and Emma, you're going to have difficulty having children because you are, as a man with cystic fibrosis, infertile. It was suddenly like being hit by a sledgehammer. I just went, oh my God. You suddenly realise that children aren't yours. So
immediately you knew the significance of what he just said to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Should paternity tests...
Let's let that little bit of commentary sink in. I mean, those testaments sink in. The young man is broken, literally broken, psychologically, the fact that he's been touted as being the father, and then he finds out he's not the father at all. You have a man who has cystic fibrosis, rendering him impotent or unable to have children through his own DNA, and he has 2 kids that really aren't his because he can't have kids. This is an issue that hits to the core of the male psyche and the male being that women don't really understand. They don't really understand what they are doing. They are emasculating a man within seconds of learning this news. And you'll hear through it, and you'll see it how men deal with it, how men go through the 7 signs of grief. Tonight on Talk Live, you'll see a multitude of men go through it. But the women's reactions are noteworthy to say the least. Let's continue.
Being mandatory at birth.
I think that the United States making DNA testing mandatory is stupid. I don't.
Oh yeah. Just letting you know. The debate is on, and you'll find out which state now has made it mandatory for DNA testing of children. It's not when you think that comes to mind immediately, but it is now law in one of these states, and it's hopeful that this becomes wider known throughout the Western world. Let's continue.
That, it's something that if you feel like you need a DNA test, go do that on your own time because you feel that way. I don't think every person, there's millions of people in the United States. Like, it doesn't make sense that people could be using that time to do other things. Like, you could be saving a life. You could be in a hospital saving a life.
Oh my God. Let me say this to you all. Okay? What that woman just said in that brief minute is the ultimate in evil. Is the ultimate in absolute callousness and selfishness. That people have better things to do than finding out men have better things to do than finding out the paternity of their children. Not let alone they could be saving lives. Saving lives for instead of finding out paternity of kids. You know whose lives you're saving? You're saving a man's life. Think about that. You're saving a man's life by finding out paternity testing. But then again, you may end it by finding out paternity testing. Because he may be so crestfallen at the fact that he is not the father, he may just end up offing himself, deleting himself. Because women deem it so without malice, without any sort of care, so carelessly, so negligently, of not telling their paramours, their well, I call them targets, quite simply, not telling their targets that they are not fathers to their children. It's simply evil. I know it goes towards survival, and I know it goes towards women, you know, preserving themselves, preserving their, well, making a quick buck. Let's face facts. Let's not, you know, sugarcoat it, or, you know, or you know, deal with any adjectives of it. But it is what it is. It is a sin, a mighty sin, enveloping a whole myriad of commandment breakers. That shall not lie. That shall not sleep with one's neighbor. All these things. It is sinful for these women to keep the revelation of a child's father to themselves to a point that they profit from it. That's why you got to be careful out here, guys. You got to be careful. But hey, we're not done. Let's go.
Alleged daughter, her mom's ex-boyfriend, London's mom's ex-boyfriend, friend had DM me, right? I know a lot of people get mixed up. They think the ex-boyfriend actually DM me. He did not DM me. Basically told me like that he's not friends with this person anymore. So I clicked on it, seen these pictures, these side-to-side pictures, right? They put London's face and they put this ex-boyfriend's face side to side, and for some reason to me it just looked too on point.
He had a reversal because he had a vasectomy from his previous ex, so he had a reversal so we could try and have a baby. And so long story short, he thinks that this child's his baby, and that's not really.
Yeah, so how old is the child now?
She's about 8 months.
Okay, so pretty recent.
Yes, pretty recent, very recent. I have known the guy that I've had the child with. I've known him for over 14 years. Went to high school with the guy, and kind of just, I don't know, ran into him and then kind of hit it off, I guess, and went from there. And we had been doing this for about 2.5 years now.
I have no judgment, just...
Okay, remember, in that last story, she cheated on the man for 2 years before she finally became pregnant. So again, as I said, there are a whole lot of sins behind the main sin, which is paternity fraud. There's a doubling and tripling of sins before we get to the paternity fraud. The first is cheating. Literal cheating. So let's continue.
This man says he's the father of this baby. People in the comments are telling him he needs a paternity test.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
I never cared to get DNA tests, you guys, because I truly believed that this was my daughter and that it was just gonna cause so much drama. I had mentioned to London's mom before.
Stopping it right there for a second. See, the gentleman didn't want to cause drama. He didn't want to cause a fuss. He did not want to ruffle feathers here. He wanted to do the right thing. Unbelievably wanted to do the right thing. He wanted to be the father so bad that he was willing to look away from reality, look away from the truth in order to keep his family together. Such is the burden of manhood and the burden of being a provider. You don't want what you created to go asunder. So you're willing to live a lie in order to keep it. It's truly one of the most selfish things a man can do. But hey, we must remember that men, men ain't shit, right? Okay, let's continue.
Like to get DNA tests, and she would always trip on me.
For the questions we ask, can you take a DNA test? I mean, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? Like, what did we go down the aisle for? What did we say those vows for? If you're not going to automatically know that this baby is yours. You.
Stop. You know why that you wanted him to say those vows? You know why you wanted him to go down that aisle? Because you wanted to lock in your security. That's why. You wanted to complete the lie. You wanted to certify the lie. You wanted to put a red ribbon on the lie. Put it in the guise of a wedding cake with a husband and wife on top and said, eat it. That's what you wanted. Instead of telling the man the truth, you wanted to compound your lies into one huge cake to be eaten by that man over the next 18 to 25 years. If that is not the height of disrespect, I don't know what is. But women are willing to do anything and everything to secure their financial future with someone. Especially one who can protect and provide. Especially one who will, to whom the state will hold that man to that promise of protection and provision. Accent on the provision. Because the state don't want to do it alone. Because if the state does it alone, believe me, they're running into huge amounts of debt trying to take care of all these kids because of a woman's past. Right?
Are not his father.
I'm sorry.
Oh, dude. Oh, Ron, get her. Yeah, calm down, baby. It's okay.
He's going to mention it in a second, but when a woman weaponizes tears and takes away from the grief and the subject, the true subject of that grief that a man should have, that's disgusting. That is simply, utterly disgusting behavior. No doubt about that. Ladies who are in the earshot of my voice, let this be clear. The moment you've done wrong and then cry so that you accept sympathy, my dear, you are lower than dirt. You want to be considered equal to a man? Take your lumps like one. Don't curry favor by crying crocodile tears. It is absolutely the most upsetting thing a man could observe. Ask any man.
We're all here. I'm here with you.
Watch her get down to the floor.
I'm sorry.
Oh, dude. Oh, Ron, get her. Yeah, calm down, baby. It's okay.
All the eyes are on the woman who has cheated on her man and gone even a step further to have a child and lie to this man and somehow convince him that it's his, because otherwise he wouldn't be crying over here. And everybody, including the judge, who's usually pretty balanced, because I actually kind of like this judge, But they all go comforting her. And no one goes over to pat this man on the back and say, how are you doing?
I don't know if my husband is seeing tomorrow if he come to me and asking for some DNA tests. We had these babies together. I've been supporting you. You've been supporting me. Now you want to come up and talk about swabbing cheeks? No. Absolutely not.
The minute that a woman comes to you with that absolute bile, let it be known, get the divorce papers ready. Get them ready, get them out, and leave her. A woman should have no trouble, absolutely no trouble, signing up for a DNA test if the child is truly the husband's, the partner's child. The moment she says, "Oh, he shouldn't be," she threatens, or she gaslights, or she insults that man. Get the divorce papers ready. Get out of there, because you are in for a lifetime of hurt. An absolute lifetime. The moment she goes on a diatribe like that, hey, here's the thing. I'll say it myself. Here's the thing. If you have a woman who goes on such a tirade, consider the child not yours. It's just for the DNA test to confirm, but consider the child not yours. Consider it. The percentage chance that that child is yours go down incrementally. 60, 70%. It's up to her and the DNA test to prove you wrong, but believe me, chances are it's wrong. If you suspect that child doesn't look like you in any way, shape, or form, trust your gut. Go get a DNA test. Trust it. Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't let anybody steer you wrong. Don't let anybody try to change your mind or gaslight you or try to insult you. Consider yourself narcissistic or selfish or lacking in self-esteem. None of it. Get the DNA test check. Just do it. It'll save you a lifetime of hurt. Supposedly. Mind you. Let's go.
Part 2 was basically was going to be me opening up this DNA test so that I could just rub it in everybody's faces so that they could just shut the up. Stop trying to say that I don't look like my daughter. Stop trying to say I'm not the dad. And I was supposed to, just rub it in everybody's face. You don't think I should open it on camera?
That's up to you. Are you, wait, down.
I'll sit down and do it.
In here?
Yeah.
With us here?
Or should I just do it myself?
We are here to support you. We're here to support you.
But if you want to get on camera,
I'm going to just open it up and I'm not going to say nothing. And then how about sit in this little baby chair, maybe? No, that'll just be good superstition.
Quite the foreshadowing.
You're trying to come around my shoulders. So
sitting in a baby chair.
Come on, boys.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? She said she's scared. Just before she left the room to go outside, she said she's scared. Let that sink in. Continue.
3.
Oh, you're already home, Dad?
I'm confused. I don't even know how to understand this. I don't even know how to read this.
Want me to read it to you?
Wait. What does probability of paternity mean?
The probability that you're your father.
Well, my next guest says that these tests are great for unsuspecting men everywhere and will actually stop women from cashing in on their offspring. Well, surprise, surprise, the man with that view is Mark Rudolph, and Lise Will disagrees. Mark, you can't actually believe this.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to move on a little
30%
bit.
of men paying child support were not the biological fathers. And a recent study in Australia of 6,000 DNA tests showed that 25% of the women were lying. So this is an anti-extortion kit that men need.
Mark, for every woman who is quote unquote caught by one of these paternity tests, there are about 1,000 guys out there who've cheated on her and woman out there. And you know what, Mark? There isn't a test that you can tell whether a guy has been cheating, Mark.
Okay, so did you hear that? Because a man cheats, that justifies him being saddled with a baby that's not his for the next 18 to 25 years. That he becomes financially constrained or destitute for the next 18 to 25 years because he cheated on his wife. If that's the most Hippocratic and asinine of justifications, I don't know what is. I do not know what is. What's a worse crime? Cheating on a woman or telling a man that this baby is his when it in fact is not? I'll let that sit with you and you reason for yourselves. And if you come up with the wrong answer, you need to check yourself. You need to check yourself.
Say you know a lot of men who have kids and they do not want to know if they're the father or not. How many? No, I don't want an example. I'm asking you a specific question. You say you know a lot of men who have kids and they don't want to know if they're the father or not. How many men do you know? You say you know a lot. How many men have kids and they don't want to know if they're the fathers or not? How many?
Well, at least one now.
Well, people in the chat. Who in the chat considers a lot to be one?
I'm just saying currently. I'm. You want me to go in my
Dan. No. You said no.
Give you examples.
Dan. No. You said men. Men is plural. Men means two or more.
Okay, I just thought of two. I guess I could sit here and think of a lot if I just sit here and think, but I was about to give you an example.
Women will never admit that they are fighting a losing battle. They will always try to justify their assertion with some sort of, I don't know. Just say that you're wrong. Accountability is like kryptonite to them. I just say you're wrong. You're dead wrong. So that's why lead attorney, shout out to the lead attorney, he's had to go in on her like that. It's like, 2? That's a lot? And then she compounds the point by saying, if I had to sit here, I could probably think of, please, make her relax, please.
Real examples, but 2. Now I just started 2. I know of 2.
Well, 2 is not a lot, is it, Jan?
Like you can on this. I mean, and look, Mark, historically, paternity tests have been used by women trying to corral guys, into court to say, look, you get this tested because you are the father. And it's the guy saying, oh, no.
Lise, that's a red herring.
That in and of itself should be the reason. Women should be leading the charge. Very good point she made there. Women should be leading the charge into family court asking for their men to take paternity tests. But that's not the case. That is definitely not the case. Women should be leading men into family court asking them to take a paternity test. Absolutely. And many do. But most don't. Most clearly are not. And it's funny how duplicitous she is, where first she justifies paternity fraud because men cheat, and then she comes back and says, well, women should be leading this charge of bringing men into court and finding out paternity. I mean, you can't make this shit up. You just can't. I'll let it go.
Herring, and it's irrelevant, and you know it. The fact of the matter is the DNA test helps the man because the man wants to know that he's not one of these defrauded guys.
You are shaking.
I know.
I feel your nervousness from here. Are you okay?
Yes. Yeah. Hey.
Mr. Benny, you are not the father. You said earlier that if Robin was not your biological child, it causes you to doubt whether or not you truly are the biological father of Jermaine Benning Jr. The court wants to make sure when you leave here you have the whole truth. You are not the father.
What's up is why you've been lying to me for 11 years.
See how it affects a man? But you're supposed to take it like a man, right? The greatest insult to a man's psyche, his confidence, his psychological disposition, his manhood. Is treated as a as a joke, as it's literally dismissed as trivial, as literal trivia. But again, we continue.
You was telling me that DJ is my real son. That's why you been lying to me.
What have I been lying about?
I got a DNA test done.
A DNA saying what?
Saying that he's not my son.
Let me see this DNA test.
You don't need to see it. I saw it.
Man cries to wife after DNA test proves he's not the dad.
See, listen to me. I will not settle anything with you. After all I have done for you. After all I have done for you. You have to sleep with another man. Don't bring a child in my house.
How DNA test don't say?
How you gonna be lying to me for 11 years? Why would you do that to me?
Where's the lie?
The lie is you. You are the lie. You have been lying to me for 11 years, having me believe that my son that I've been raising for 11 years is not really my son. Like, how could you do that to me? Like, what can you say for yourself right now?
And the fact of the matter is women are having, 40% of children are being born out of wedlock today, and they're accusing men left and right. You're the father, you're the father. If women don't know who the father is, that means that they're... And that's what's happening today.
All right, look.
There it is! What he meant to say, they are SLUTS. They're sluts, yes. They are being quite promiscuous. I mean, you could say, oh, you can't say that to a woman. Yes, you can. Because it's proven. Women have way more sex than men ever could. Most men. Because the sexual access is widely available to a woman. It's been shown on dating apps, as I said. The ugliest woman gets more attention than the best-looking, most attractive man on dating apps, without question. So yes, with all that sexual access, a woman can't, not being able to keep her legs closed and not being able to define who their father is of their children, it is an absolute disgrace to them. And yes, they have to be called what they are. They have to be called what they are. Sluts. Ladies of the night. A good time. And it's a shame that we have to do it this way. We have to, but again, what more can be said? What more can be said about it? It's shameful that we have to go through this process. But again, with the sexual marketplace being so deregulated and so open these days, that this issue is going to be coming up again and again and again and again for days, weeks, and years to come. So, call a spade, unfortunately. But that is where the sexual marketplace is today.
Mark, you ask any unmarried, single, divorced woman who's raising a child or more, and she will tell you that the cost, doctors, dentists, school, everything that comes with a child is way outweighed by anything that a non-custodial parent would chip in. The fact that you think that women are cashing in on kids is absolutely ridiculous. Single women out there have a hard time just even getting their kids through high school with the hope that maybe a few pennies will come in from dads who are reluctant to pay anything, who have to be dragged into court to take a paternity test, Mark.
Mr. Man.
And that is why, indeed, a lot of single women are dragging men into court, because their promiscuity has left them single mothers, and they need all the help they can get. So they will be at wit's end to find any father, any man, to help them clean up the mess. There it is. They're incentivized to point a finger at a certain man saying, he's the father, go get money from him. And again, the state has allowed for that to happen and are incentivized to make that happen as well, as we'll find out later in the show. Yeah. The state wants this system to continue, but certain states aren't. And we'll find out about those later. But at the end of the day, women have already been named and shamed. So therefore, might as well drag someone down with them, right? Even if he is innocent. Just because of sexual access. Let's continue.
Answer, you claim you spent 5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for the defendant, Ms. Sears' son, Dylan. Manser versus Sear. As it pertains to 20-year-old Dylan Sear, Mr. Manser, you are not
God.
his father.
Oh, man. 5 years in prison. Dylan, I'm sorry, bro. This is why. This is why I did what I did.
But this is nothing I made up. The lab did.
You made it all up.
No, I did not.
Well, those results apparently
I don't know
are made
any
up.
of those people on that form.
You see what I'm talking about? A man had to go to jail for 5 years because a woman claimed that he was a father and he wasn't paying child support. Therefore, you go to jail. That's right. In case you didn't know, here in Ontario, there's an office called the Family Responsibility Office. Their job is literally to go after deadbeat dads and punish them however they see fit in order to get child support from alleged fathers, including, at last resort, throwing them in jail for 5 years. Now, this is another jurisdiction altogether. Let's call a spade a spade. However, this man had the temerity to get a DNA test, and guess what? He wasn't the father. So he wasted 5 years of his life. Is it starting to sink in now? The price a man has to pay because of a woman's whim? Chanel says you want me to comment. You can comment all you want, my dear. You can. You can. I welcome all criticism. I welcome all to comment on this, either here, either live or on YouTube. I'm willing to comment on this because this is one of the greatest frauds of our time. One of the greatest crimes of our time is paternity fraud. But it goes unsaid. Because it feeds a system to which a man is beholden. Let's continue.
Oh my God.
This is clearly the most shocking news we've ever gotten in this courtroom.
Oh my God. She should be convicted of some crime.
No, I should not. I didn't.
That is
Mr.
fraud.
Mr.
Obviously, as you guys can.
That is fraud. That is fraud. And this man, in my opinion, should sue for said fraudulent claims and for the fact he had to he should sue the state, really, because that's the deep pocket, not the woman. The state for being falsely imprisoned because he wasn't the father. I hope he sought legal recourse after this. We have a comment here saying, my ex-husband is locked up. I get no child. Well, again, is your man the father of your children? Has it been confirmed? That's what we're dealing with here, Chanel. I thank you for your comment. That is what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with men who have committed a crime and go to jail and then they can't give child support. That's a whole other thing. What we're talking about here is women literally pointing to a man to whom they've had sexual relations, said, you're the daddy. Without any proof, without any testing of his DNA to verify that he is the father, and he's on the hook for the next 18 to 25 years financially. And the government will see to it that he is. That's what we're doing. So it's a totally different subject from what you are stating in your comment there, but I appreciate the comment. Thank you so much. We'll continue.
See, I opened up that video and I opened up the email and found out that you know what I'm saying, it says 0%, just as the alleged father, just Cook, is not the father in these cases, blah, blah, and the names all little genes that you're not, of London Dior Cook. So when I found this out, I texted her mom and I said, come get your daughter. You know what I'm saying? I was mad. I'm gonna be straight up. I was super mad. I had London at the time, which is crazy. And she started crying, calling me. I finally answered up like 10th call over and over. I really didn't want to talk to her because I was like I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. Like, I really have so much negative thoughts towards this girl. Like, I blocked her on everything. She's not having no type of words with me ever again.
What made you get a DNA test?
Stop that there. That's the sort of issue that men have to deal with, is that they're supposed to hold their counsel and they're supposed to not get too upset and keep their decorum when one of the greatest lies of their lives have been told to them over a number of years. How can a man keep a straight face, keep his composure, when he has been fleeced of his money through fraudulent claims, fleeced of his time, his effort, his love over a number of years through a false accusation? Yes, women should face some sort of penalty for that crime, because it is a crime. Let's not mince words. Paternity fraud is a crime. Now, Chanel says he knew it was his kids. Okay. If he knew it was his kids, so be it. However, there are many who don't. If you didn't hear the number before, 30% of all DNA tested fathers aren't the father. And that number could rise exponentially over a number of years through mandatory testing. I understand he knew he was his children, Chanel, but there are many men who don't. There are many men who know, who friends tell them, that's your jacket. That's not yours. You look nothing like them. And the woman will gaslight him to think, and lie to him to think, no, that's yours. That is where the problem lies here. That's who we're dealing with today. If a man feels he's the father, so be it. But if there's any mistrust in his heart, now here's the thing. If there's any mistrust in his heart that he is not the father, he should make it imperative that he get that baby tested. Do not leave it to chance. Go get it tested. Go get that child tested. Because women are lying these days, and they're lying on a huge scale. Let it be said. They don't care about a man's feelings anymore. All they want is money. All they want is security, and they will do anything to get it. I repeat, anything. You'll watch through tonight. They'll do anything. Let's go.
Because I went through your phone.
Why is it that that's always the question? Because I've done a couple of these videos where men find out that the child they've been raising up for years is not theirs. Why is the question always, why did you get a DNA test in the first time? Hold on. Why is that a common question? We're going to get back into this video, but why is it a common question to ask, why did you get the child tested? I want you guys to really think about how freaking crazy that is.
You know what that
is that a question?
How is that a question indeed? You know what that is? You know how sinister that is? You know how skullduggerous that is? Look those two words up. You know how absolutely underhanded that is? That a woman will ask you with a straight face why you got the testing done. They'll tell you with a straight face, please, why indeed did you get this testing done? Because I want to know this is my child. Because I do not want to go through anything that the state throws at me. Because I don't want to live a lie. Take your pick. But I've had Chanel says, I've had a BFF ask me, please, I'd have a BFF ask me, please, my friend, the girls' dates do not match. Well, again, certain women are insistent, but that's in a distinct minority, Chanel, and to the audience. It's in this distinct minority. Women don't do that anymore. Women are more ruthless now, more than ever. They don't care about a man's feelings. They only care about a man's money. At the end of the day. That's why all these Instagram models are getting pregnant by all these athletes. Because they know they're getting a certain percentage of their money. See Brittany Renner. Let's continue.
To be like, oh, how dare you go get the child tested? Every child should be tested if you ask me. I think a lot of men would agree with that as far as DNA testing, because these stories are more common than people think. But the fact that women are surprised that you would even dare go check, to me, is mind-blowing. They're always shocked in these type of videos. Let's keep watching.
Talking about me, laughing and bragging, telling your friends that I have no idea that he's really not my son. So I went and got a DNA test done. Like, you think I'm stupid or something?
Damn.
Like, how could you do this to me?
All right, so there's a part 2 to this I'm about to play right now. But did you guys hear what he just said? He said that she was bragging to her friends. This is some pure evil shit. She was bragging to her friends, saying things like, oh, he doesn't know the child isn't his. Pure evil. All I'm going to say is, hell's going to be packed. Let's keep listening.
Again, he had to go into a woman's phone, check out messages, and find out for himself that she was lying to him and laughing at him behind his back, saying, I got one. Look, he's paid for my kid. It's not even his. I got a sucker here. Oh, Jesus said is right. There's a special place in hell for these women. And they'll try to back it up saying, oh, we're just trying to survive. Oh, the man was cheating on us. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, the man was doing that. They'll try to deflect accountability. But at the end of the day, it's their fault. And they don't want to take responsibility for their crime. Because it's a crime. Every time you hear paternity fraud, it's a crime. It's just we don't lock up ladies. We don't bring them to justice because of it. It's a shame. Partly because fine, babies would be without their mothers. But secondly, because the state does not profit from said truths.
The crazy part to it is how I feel is my husband is okay if I have sex with another man. And that's even, like I said, crazier. But he was, I told him about it, but I didn't tell him that it was his child. I didn't tell him that. I had done it more than once. I told him I did it once, and that was it. And I know what I've done is completely wrong, but I definitely don't regret it. Like I said, my husband had the vasectomy, and then he had the reversal, and we were trying for a long time to have a baby. And for this to happen, it was almost a blessing, but also terrible in a wrong sense, for sure.
Different father.
Stop there for a second. Now, again, here's a caveat here. Here's where we say there's a lacuna in the law here. There's a lacuna in this crime, and that is if you are allowing your woman to participate in an open relationship, to allowing her to sleep with anyone she wants at any time, and she comes back pregnant, well, guess what? You are part and parcel part of the problem. Because sex, well, as a man, sex is part of the procreative process. And therefore, if you give your lady legal license to sleep with who she wants with, and she comes back pregnant, well, that's on you. However, if it is, a closed endeavor that you could cheat and she not, all right, listen. Or that you do not allow her to have sex with anybody, you are in a committed, CIS gendered relationship between a man and a woman, and no one else shall, and nothing else shall go asunder. Well then, okay, fine. I understand. Totally understand. I understand that that this crime pertains to you. But if you are engaging in an open relationship with a woman and she ends up pregnant, well, it's on you. It's as simple as that. It's on you. Let's continue.
I sure have, because I thought he was my son. Because you've been lying to me this whole time.
What are you talking about? Does it matter?
It does matter. What do you mean? That absolutely matters. Like, you don't see anything wrong with what you did? You don't see anything wrong with what you did? You've been lying to me? You've been sitting here lying to me for 11? Of course I love him, but you guys can't stay. You can't stay here anymore.
What happened is she called me and she asked me, she said, what happened? And I said, I opened up the DNA test. And
just before we go there, it's true. If you find your woman engaging in the crime of paternity fraud, put her out of your house. She's got to go. She can't stay. She can't stay in your house whatsoever. No. She's committed the ultimate sin to a man. And not only that, she lied about it. And you're paying for it. We'll continue with this in part 2 of the show. Stay with us here on IG. Just going to take a break. We're coming back. So, yes. We're still here on Talk Live, live on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining this important show on paternity fraud. And let's get into it again with IG. Again, and we're going to let this ride here. There we go. We are back live on IG, YouTube. We are back live. We're going to continue this. But again, as I was saying to the live audience, yeah, if she commits this ultimate sin and puts a lie on top of it, just icing on the cake, no, she's got to go. If you're paying the bills in that house, she got to go. Or if she is the person on the deed of your abode, domicile, apartment, whatever, you need to get out of there. Because there's no telling what you'll do. You need just to go. Do not jeopardize yourself by committing any crimes. Deal with it and just get out of there. Because she'll heap another crime on top of that, being domestic violence if you do. Don't do that. You should not stoop that low. No woman is worth that. You should not be committing any acts of domestic violence, period. I do not advocate for that. Let the courts decide what needs to be done. It's as simple as that. If you must sue to get your child support back, so be it. But at the end of the day, you just need to leave that establishment or have her leave. There's no two ways about it.
I went on DNA test results, and this is not my daughter. And I said, I love this little girl, but I need you to come get her. And she said, what are you talking about? And she just started crying. She just started like huffing and puffing, bawling, right? She asked me, what did she ask? She said, tell me you're lying, tell me you're lying. I said, no, I'm not lying. Like, what the, like, how, tell me you're not lying, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just lied to me about, for a whole year, you basically just lied to me about the biggest factor of my whole life. Like, the biggest thing that's happened to me in my whole life, and it was a straight lie.
So you clearly know this man. Obviously, you said you know him for 14 years. So you said this is what you've been doing now for 2.5 years. So this is something that you still kind of do, like you still kind of, are essentially having an affair in what seems to be an open relationship.
Somewhat, yes. My husband doesn't know about it continuing to happen, but last week, actually, this other guy, he confessed feelings, and I told him, I said, I'm not interested in that. I'm married. I'm happy. I just look for a little side D, and that's about it. But that's all I want from that situation. And I haven't heard from him since then because I told him how I felt about that.
So, as you can hear, women would love to live out their fantasies with one man and let another man take responsibility for it. It's sort of monkey branching, but on a absurd, ridiculous level. One man is the one you want to have sex with. The other man is the responsible one, and he's the one who should take care of your error in judgment and mistake. Now again, if you're in an open relationship, you brought this on yourself. But if you are not, do not, gentlemen, stay and pay for a child that is not yours. Don't do it. Get out of there. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how much crying she does. She committed the ultimate crime against men, and that is paternity fraud. Short of killing them, yeah, that's about right. You need to vacate the premises. Here, in this instance, she was part of a an open relationship. If somebody gets pregnant during an open relationship, well, that's on you. You gotta bite the bullet. You gotta take the responsibility. Plain and simple. However, if you're not, and you want to be exonerated from this crime, do it. Do it immediately. And if you are, again, unsure of the paternity of your child, do not feel any way. Do not get browbeat. Do not get gaslit. Do not be lied to about the child. Get it tested. Because if women want sexual revolution and evolution and freedom, so should you have the freedom to test if that child is indeed yours. You should not have to pay for the crimes a woman has brought to your doorstep. Sorry.
So, do you have like a plan, like moving forward? Just kind of like, you know, when did you decide, like, I'm going to keep this a secret? I'm not going to say anything? Because I mean, you said that your husband is okay with you having sex with other people, and you know, obviously, when people are engaged in that sort of thing, you know, accidental pregnancies happen. Do you think that he would be just absolutely crushed by this, or what is the reason why you? Fair
use, guys.
The reason I want to hide it is because I think he would be crushed by it. He makes jokes all the time about, oh my gosh, you know, it's so and so's baby, it's this and that, jokes around. But I think it would hurt his pride more than anything. And I don't know how to word it, I guess, to him is the hard part.
Let it be said, ladies, okay? Anyone within my voice, and men understand this. It is the ultimate insult, the ultimate slap in the face to come home and find out that the child that you've been rearing, the child that you've invested so much financially, responsibly, in terms of time and effort, is not yours. The child you thought was yours is not yours at all. It is if you want to stab us, if you want a greater stab in the heart, that's it, right there, right there. Short of killing us, that is the biggest stab you could throw at us. It goes straight to the jugular, straight to the heart. It's an instant killer. And I ask you, ladies, who even think about committing such a crime, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. I can't protect you. I can't. Even though violence against women is wrong and should not be at all. But this is something that's hard to stomach for a man, so we're supposed to keep our counsel, absolutely, but you're playing with fire here, and I mean a big one. Huge bonfire, massive inferno when you do this to us. But again, guys, do not be a victim. Protect yourself at all times. Continue.
I don't know. It's not my problem. It's not my problem.
Yes.
It's not my problem. It's not my problem.
Yep.
It's not my problem. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. You can't
Yes,
stay
sir.
here. I don't know.
They're out.
I did my job. I did my job. I did my job as a dad. I did my job as a dad. You can't stay here anymore. Y'all gotta go. Both y'all can't stay anymore. No, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. Y'all can't stay here anymore. Y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta get y'all out. Y'all gotta go. I can't deal with it. I'm putting y'all out. Yes.
Who's going to put you out? Oh, we're going to put you out, ladies. Let it be known. You're leaving. If our name is on the lease and you lie to us about paternity, you are gone. You are leaving. A man who wishes to keep you there, it's his choice. But most men, you're out of there. You're gone. Do not think there will be a roof over your head with the man that you've defrauded after you told him, after he finds out about a DNA test and the child's not his. You might as well just pack your bag. You might as well just say, oh, the child's not yours. You might as well just walk into the room, start packing your bags, and finding an Uber and getting out of there. You'll be lucky if a man pays for the Uber in and of itself. That act of kindness is one of the greatest ever told. You need to go. You need to go. Go. For your own safety and sanity, go. A comment here saying, what did you say there? A lad ever do that to anyone? Yeah. Listen, it's one of the great sins of our time for a man to realize that the child isn't his. Women don't get this, but it is. One of the greatest crimes of modern day is to find out a child that he's taken care of, that he's put so much time, effort, and energy into, is not his. Let that be known, ladies. I cannot stress that enough. If you are continuing a lie tonight, please end it. Please, I beg of you, end it tonight. Within the sound of my voice, if you're carrying on with a jacket that the man doesn't know about, end it tonight. Confess and move forward with your lives, because that is the ultimate sin of a woman in modern day. You may give amazing children, but at the end of the day, it's not his. And if it's not in your case, Chanel, but in the case of a man not having that child, it's not his. You know what? Take this in. You know what happens in the animal kingdom to children that aren't biologically those of their of a father, of the male of the species? They're eaten, killed, shunned, kicked out, and this is the law of the jungle. This is it. If you do not, let's take lions for instance. If you are not part of that pride, if you are not part of that male line of paternity, consider yourself dead. Because the male of that species will literally kick you out or consume you. You're lucky that the human species have reason and logic and temerity when it comes to these certain things. But in the animal kingdom, it's no joke. And everybody knows whose paternity this kid is, and everybody knows who's the father and who's not. But guess what? Don't care. She's my woman. You're a dead one. You're automatically deleted in certain species. Now, certain species will take on the child and rear it as his own, all these other certain things, but a lot of species, that's not the case. It is not. Thank God you're not a lion. Thank God you're not one of the bird species. Look at any animal channel. I keep forgetting which animal channel it is I usually get it from. But that's the law of the jungle. So, you're sitting next to me. I don't know how you're sitting next to you. Hey, let's get going.
Wow.
gave London like a big hugs and big kisses and shit. It's the hardest thing because it's like it's almost like losing somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like it is losing somebody, but I'm saying like it's like almost like someone died. Like it sucks. Like it's like you can't do nothing about it. I can't be in her life even if I wanted to because I have no right. I'm not her dad. You know what I'm saying? And she's gonna have to grow up probably not even knowing who is. You know what I'm saying? Her mom probably not even gonna tell her to, because you know what I'm saying. Why would you?
Do you
stop that there for a second? Now, he's right, because that's why Godfather Kevin said, being a father to a child that's not yours, being a stepdad is a bad idea. It's an idea whose time has come and gone. Because number one, you can't discipline the child. Number two, the child's not yours. So if a woman wants to pick up and leave, she can pick up and leave. So all that emotional investment you have in that child, that could be taken away at any moment. You're paying for a child that literally is not your responsibility. These are all the perils of being a stepfather. And men do it every single day because men's love is for real. Think about it. Not only will we love for our woman, we will love for our family. We provide for our family. A woman provides for their kids, but rarely does she provide for her husband unless she's deeply in love with that person. But that is slowly dwindling with the modern woman these days, unfortunately. Your ex, Chanel says your ex could test your kid. Well, here's the thing, Chanel. If your ex doesn't want to test, he doesn't have to test. He doesn't have to test. If he feels assured in his heart that his kids are his, he doesn't have to test. However, he should be given the free will to do so. As any man should. And he should not be ashamed to do it. He should not be insulted to do it. He should not be gaslit to do it. He should not be lied to do it. That's what we're talking about here.
Ever plan on telling him, like even down the line, or is it a sort of now or never thing?
I think it's more of a now or never. I should, but I have yet to do it. But if it doesn't happen now, then eventually I think I will tell him, just because he deserves to know. He's a good guy and he is okay with everything that's been going on. So
does the father know that it's his baby?
We don't know for a fact, but I've compared pictures to previous children he's had. He's had 2 other kids, and one of them looks so similar to the one that I have. And I asked him if I could do like a paternity test like at home, and he was okay with that completely. But like I said, I haven't made contact with him since everything went down, and he said he had feelings. So
you don't know for like an absolute fact that this is actually not your husband's?
I say I don't know, but like I said, my husband had a reversal, and then we tried for over 3 years to have a baby, and it never worked. And then I was sleeping with this guy, and boom, baby.
Yeah, odds are you're probably right about that.
And they look very similar. So,
if you waited,
just before he gets into that question, deep down, ladies, men see and know things that you think we're oblivious to, and that includes the look of a child. You'll say, "Oh, he's got your features here. He's got your nose. He's got your eyes. He's got your ears. He's got your your face." Da, 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 da. But deep down, there is a telling feature to let a man know that this is his child. and something rings in our ear saying, you know what? I see nothing of me in it. Nothing in me in her. What am I doing? And it just rings in our ears like an alarm clock that just can't shut off. We have to seek it out. And we should not be denied that right to find out if a child is ours. Plain and simple.
How do you think he would react down the line? Say it was, years from now where time has passed and he's raising this child as his own, and then, you were to tell him that. Because, I wouldn't say I'm on the brink of fatherhood, but I think it's something in the near future, and it's almost hard to comprehend getting that news after, so much time would have passed of raising this child of my own. Do you think that would, you said damage his pride, but do you think it would, hurt him beyond that?
I think it would hurt him beyond that a little bit if I told him later. If I told him now, it may not be as difficult for him to take that information.
We're going to move it a little further quickly.
I just know that she psychologically, I feel like...
So I want to get another part of this the show.
I was a father, knowing that there was a possibility that somebody else...
Let me just stop here for a second.
I just know that she psychologically, I feel like...
Let me just stop it here for a second. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Fall winter line out now. It's banging. Black Friday just happened, and there are sales on right now. So go get your gear at Duntalk.com. I'll be walking around the city with some of this stuff because it is fire. Let me just say that. As the kids say, it is fire. We have another comment. My ex-husband had 6 kids. I was one he didn't test it. Okay, well, I understand. Chanel. I totally understand. Your ex was so assured that the 2 kids were his. Hey, it's his prerogative not to test them. But as I said, a third of men don't know that the kids are living a lie. A third of men. 1 out of 3 men are living a lie these days. 1 out of 3 fathers are living a lie. They should know. And there's a way about going about these things. But we're going to move on quickly to that. Let's continue.
Psyched herself out that I was a father, knowing that there was a possibility that somebody else could be the father.
I don't think there's any issue with a man taking care of another man's child. Women do it all the time, whether you know or not. He might bring another child and say, "Oh, I had this out of our wedlock," Hold
on, not to me.
Did you hear that? Let's rewind that back. I thought it could get no worse. No, I thought it would get no worse.
Psychologically, I feel like
you need to hear that again.
Psyched herself out that I was
Let
a father,
that sink in again.
There was a possibility that somebody else could be the father.
I don't think there's any issue with a man taking care of another man's child. Women do it all the time, whether you know or not. He might bring another child and say, "Oh, I had this out of our wedlock,"
Hold on, I had to make sure.
This woman had the gall, literal gall, to say, what's wrong with taking care of a child that is not his? They do it all the time. They bring in kids that from outside relationships, and they have to take care. No, here's the deal, ladies. Let me talk to you. You see, men are responsible financially and protecting and protection-wise, procreating, problem-solving for those children. So a woman from outside the relationship will never have to have that responsibility if she doesn't want to. It's a choice. And men aren't given a choice. That choice is taken away. Just letting you know. The choice is taken away from us. And the fact that paternity from a man taking a certain child away into another relationship, that can never be disputed because it never came from that one woman. Where paternity can be disputed with it in terms of a woman because, well, faulty locks and all. If you know the analogy. A master key that opens up many locks is, well, a key that opens many locks is a master key. A lock that is allowed to open by many keys is a faulty lock. So it is, how shall I say this? How shall I say this? It is virtually impossible to find ill with a man who brings children from outside of wedlock into a woman, because he's already responsible for their kids already. You're perpetrating a fraud by telling a man that these are his kids and they aren't. Do you get the difference? Chanel wants to ask me something. Ask away there, Chanel. Ask away. Just type it in, or if you want to come on air, you can do so. Ask away. I'm willing to bring people on the show about this subject. Let's continue.
I heard what I heard, right? So at first she says no, and then she justifies it by saying, I don't think there's anything wrong with a man taking care of another man's child. And she's obviously trying to say, even if it was negative, it's okay. What the F? A lot of you guys, passport bros, want to travel the world. Notice this show is called The African Millennials. You know, you guys want to travel the world, and I always say, have fun, do you, travel if that's what you want to do, right? Be careful bringing these women from these other countries back to the United States, because they will start to drink tea. Let's get back into it.
Oh, what are we going to do? Or he's taking your money and paying child support to another family. You had no idea. So when we're just like jumping like, oh, I'm not.
Where do you see it in Western society that a woman will give money to a man to take care of another woman's child? I'm asking you. I'll tell you when. The 12th of never. A woman will never give a man money for one of his kids that isn't his, unless it's out of charity or sheer, utter love for that man. That's the only way. But it's never on a long-term basis. You're never getting a woman to pay that full-time, long-term. It's not going to happen. It's up to a man to take care of his responsibilities. You have to be a man, right? So why don't you be a woman and let us know that the kids we're caring, the kids that we're caring for, the kids that we're financially responsible for, the kids that the state has us on the ticket for, on the bill for, isn't ours. But, like Kevin said, accountability is like kryptonite, right? 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 Chanel wants to know how I can ask a man in Jamaica to give child support. Well, you got to take that man to family court in Jamaica and ask for it. It's as simple as that. You have to get a family lawyer in that jurisdiction, Jamaica. Let him know that let that lawyer know that that man has expenses to pay in terms of child rearing and support, and see if you can get any money out of him. However, as you say, it depends on the man's financial wherewithal at the moment. So that remains up in the air, to be fair. So I'm not going to get into that, but that's for you and a family law lawyer in Jamaica to find out about. Let's continue as this woman is left to continue her lie and her dance and her absolute brainwashing attempt on all men, because again, believe all women, right?
I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Hold on. It's already being done.
You could have been doing so many other things with your life. You could have been figuring your life out. I don't know, feeding pigeons. I don't know, doing anything. but you raising a kid that is not yours. I mean, if you had the option to know that was your kid and you wanted to raise that kid,
this man said feeding pigeons. He would rather feed pigeons than take care of another man's child. I get it, bro.
That's perfectly fine.
Here's the thing that I love about my freedom, and I don't want to brag. This is a dry brag, but like a dry bag. This is a dry bag, but the one thing that I love about my freedom is the fact that I can lay my head down at night and know that any responsibility is my own and not anyone else's. I know that there aren't any kids running around with my name on it. I know that anything I earn isn't going to go somewhere else out of simple fraud. That's what I know. That's what I know. That's what I love about my simple yet free-filled life. Unencumbered life. That's a better word. Is that I know when I lay my head down at night, I am responsible for myself. And there's no one taking advantage of me and my finances. Especially a woman whose only goal is to commit a crime that deserves punishment. Like criminal punishment, civil punishment. But the states are their backers, and here we are. Family Responsibility Office, anyone? Child Services, anybody?
Fine, a lot of people do that, but when you don't know, you're doing it out of the obligation or the mindset that this is my child, I'm gonna raise him or her, I'm gonna raise them up, I love them, this is my DNA, this is my blood, and then come to find out that's not your kid.
I mean, in all honesty, I think, with government, potentially passing a law to make DNA like a must, I think it works out for the best for everyone, in all honesty, because for a kid, I think the kid deserves to know who's their real mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something that we start now, it's something that makes it an easier conversation down the road where it's not necessarily about trust, but it's just something that comes as a part of having a kid. I mean, you've already tested the baby to make sure that it's healthy. Why not test to make sure you understand who the parent is?
Let's be very clear here. It does not work out for the women who want to maintain full productive control over their dualistic mating strategy, as in they want to entertain the men who they want short-term sexual relationships with, spread their legs for them, let them bust inside, impregnate them, and then want to find a responsible man simply because, hey, he'll be a better father. Even though ideally, that guy that doesn't want to settle down with me, I actually want his kids, right? It does not support and will not support their plan to trap a man, which a lot of these women do.
That's how duplicitous the lives of modern women are. They'd rather sleep with a man that doesn't want them, and once they have their child, they want another man who's deemed more responsible to clean up the mess. That's modern dating. Zero accountability for that lady in and of itself, or as little as possible. Let's say that. Sleep with the man you want, but marry the man you need. Let's repeat that again. Sleep with the man you want, but marry the man you need. Because this mess has to be cleaned up that I created, because I spread my legs open and I want all the sexual freedoms that I can get, and let somebody else pay for it. Such is the hypocrisy of the modern day woman. taking little to no accountability for themselves. Men, you must protect yourselves at all times. You're in a ring with this woman, and she is here to knock you out. She is here to knock your ass out. She can't do it physically, but guess what? She can do it financially and legally. You got that? Those are two huge advantages. I did not get to my place in life where I never lost sight of that. I ever lost sight of that. Especially if you're the one they deem the most responsible. Luckily, I've had my taste of the other life, of course. But again, it's few and far between. I get it. I'm not exactly a 8, 9, 10. I'm not a chatter Tyrone. I get it. Just add a bit of levity to the conversation. However, the fact of the matter is, you must protect yourself at all times. These ladies are here. These modern women are here. These promiscuous, body-filled women are here to knock your ass out and take whatever they can from you. So every base, via through the state or not, must be covered. Because you could be a victim too. To one of the greatest crimes perpetrated today, paternity fraud.
Husband asked me to take a DNA test. It's believed after the results come back positive, I will be getting my Mercedes Benz. I'm going on vacation, all on your dime, shopping. If you want things to go back to being normal, you're spending.
If my husband...
Did you hear that? Did you... Right on cue. Did you hear that? Whether you like it or not, that is what a man is today to most modern women, a wallet. Except she has the state as her backer. Instead of doing it through her feminine wiles, she has the state. The Family Responsibility Office, the Attorney General's office, the criminal courts, the civil courts, to make sure that you're on the dime. Because the wheels of government grind to a halt if you're not there. If you aren't there. Let that be said. She could have said all of that and not have a child with you. That is modern women today. All of you understand that. All of you understand it. Let that be known. She doesn't need a child to say that. She could say that on her own to most men. But you know who she'll never say that to? The man she wants to give a child to. As long as she has the feels and he breaks her off in the right way, she'll never say that to him. But you'll be left playing for it. That's what they call paternity fraud.
Asked me for a DNA test. One, I would be offended. I would feel disrespected.
Who gives an F? What the hell? Who's marrying these chicks and agreeing to these terms? You're getting that DNA test. What type of shit is this?
And I wouldn't.
You know what type shit it is? It's modern women shit. It is the Western feminist ideal woman shit. It is what makes up modern women today. And to whom the passport bros are running away from in droves. They want away from this sort of mentality. Believe me, They don't want any test. They want you paying full whack, whatever their cost, for what? Their time and attention. And none of their womb either. To certain men. Lucky I'm not one of them. Lucky I'm not one of them.
Care to ask him why? I would do it to shut him up. I would do it to prove that I'm not guilty, so I'm gonna do it. I don't think I would feel defensive. But at the same time, if you don't why you don't trust me? Like, it will cause an argument. I don't think our relationship would be the same at all.
I think DNA should definitely be.
Don't care. I don't care. I don't care how the relationship ends up. As long as I have peace of mind that you have not tried to swindle me out of my hard-earned cash for your poor choices. Don't care where the relationship ends. I just don't. I don't care. 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 Let that be. I don't care. I don't. Did I say? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Bro, who cares? Do the test. These women are caught up in feelings. Oh, yeah, I just don't feel. Do the test. It's not that big of a deal, right? It shouldn't matter, right? But it doesn't matter, right?
Done at birth. Anytime after that, it definitely will bring into the trust issues, and it also eliminates I raised this kid for 5, 6, 7 years, not knowing if the kid was mine or not.
If my husband asked me to have a DNA test for our children, whether it's 1 or 2, I will be filing for divorce, because if you have not seen, if I haven't given you any idea.
Who wants to bet?
Do it! Ladies, let this... Men, take notes, please. If a woman wants to file divorce from you because you're testing it, do it. Do it, do it, do it. You'll be saving yourself a lot of headache over the years. Do it! Let her file for divorce. Let her leave you. Take whatever losses you have in terms of child support, and it's not even child support because they're not yours. Take whatever losses you had away from me. If you saw this woman on Talk Live on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If you saw this woman yourself, you'd leave too. Get out of there. Leave. If you want to test your children for their correct paternity, leave. Get out. It's okay, no problem. Don't care. As long as I have peace of mind, I don't care. I don't care. Don't care. Just letting you know, don't care. Don't care. Don't care.
That she does not have a husband.
Women.
And also wondering why she doesn't have a husband.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
What was this? The Avengers Modern Women Edition? All these women had all the wrong answers. Let's check out a few of these comments where the people have. Say, first comment here says, yes, and you have to ask why they are not. The question mark, why? Why aren't they? Makes too much sense, but we know why they are not. Another comment here reads, the fact that a woman knows it's her child, the father, not always so. Another comment here from another man says, some people...
I'll leave it there. Thank you very much to Cheats. Is there anything after this here? Yes. Let's speed on past this. This is the crux of the issue. Let me make sure I get this right. We're just going to move through the comments. Yes! Let's reveal who has indeed stepped forward, what jurisdiction has stepped forward, and let it be known that they're sick and tired of men getting played. So they're going to do something about it. And I hope a lot more jurisdictions follow suit. Let's go.
The truth that it was all a scam, that they got scammed and the woman knew the whole time. Now he has to figure out how he's going to move forward. Guys, my question to you is, how many women do you think will start getting locked up on a monthly basis if this was to hit all states?
All right, so those of you who are in Tennessee, guess what? House Bill 2689 is getting ready to pass. That is requiring paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. Because, when people do paternity tests...
Oh, yeah, let me just say that truthfully. once you sign the birth certificate as a father, it is very difficult to extricate yourself unless you get a DNA test, yes. But the state will still hold you responsible for that child financially. Let that sink in. It is very hard to extricate yourself from responsibility, financial responsibility for a child if you've already signed the birth certificate. So it's very important that a DNA test comes into play before you sign that deal, or else it's hard to extricate yourself from financial responsibility, just letting you know. But here in the good old state of Tennessee, in the United States, there is now a statute on the books that says that paternity testing is mandatory for every child before a father signs a birth certificate. Ain't it grand? Finally, some salvation. Let's continue.
1/3 of the time, they end up not being the father, and if they start testing everybody, that number can only go up, not down. It's going to be dramatic, and right now they're starting to also add in things like maternity fraud is a crime and a punishable crime. So guys used to go to jail for not paying child support on a child that wasn't theirs because the state wants to get their money, because if there is no father to pay for the child support, somebody has to pay for it, so they push it onto the nearest person that could be a father figure. And they're actually starting to jail time the ladies for maternity fraud because it is such a rampant crime.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The announcement that the state of Tennessee has it on the books that paternity fraud is now, mandatory DNA testing is now on the books for every child born in the state of Tennessee, and a woman can be locked up for paternity fraud. Finally, a state woke up and realized that men are being fleeced. And you know what that means? That 1 out of 3 men who are a part of false of DNA testing proving they are not fathers will, as he said, only go up, will only rise. So instead of 1 out of 3 men, it'll probably be half the men out there. With the sexual marketplace as it is, it'll go up to half, if not more. A lot of ladies will be choosing jackets. But guess what? With this testing now, expect a lot of ladies to be a lot pickier in terms of their relationships, marriages, and fathers. Fathers to be, that is. Isn't this great? Isn't this wonderful? Fantastic. Shout out to King Onan right there. Yes, indeed. King Onan and I, we know the drill. We know the deal. Yeah. Yes. King Onan says, Black Rob said that you need to guard your semen. You're darn right I do. You're darn right I do. And so do you, sir. So do you, King Onan. Shout out to you. But Tennessee has it right. I'm hoping other states will follow suit, but there's a reason why modern women and feminists don't protest outside of a family court. I've said this once, I'll say this again. There's no need, it's counterproductive.
So I don't agree with a lot that they do in politics, but I agree with this one. The hustle is over. The scams are done in the state of Tennessee. And I know some of y'all feel like, well, why should we have to do all of this? They should trust me, because y'all be lying. The women be lying. And if you know that this is his baby without a shadow of a doubt, husband, boyfriend, baby daddy, it don't matter who it is. Let them go on and get that paternity test, sis. If you on the up and up, it shouldn't bother you. And for all of those women out there faking pregnancy to scam men, ooh, y'all big mad now, ain't you?
All right. As those are going to check.
Oh, yes, they're big mad. Oh, yes, they're big mad. States throughout the Union of the United States are starting to follow suit in this capacity. And I hope it's done swiftly. But remember, it's going to be a long road to hoe, simply because men paying into the system for child support is a huge revenue stream for any state, any province, any jurisdiction, period. Huge. You take that away, a certain amount of revenues for a certain amount of taxpayer dollars, a certain amount of revenues from the people of that jurisdiction will be withdrawn. And that will mean budgetary crises. So guess what? Don't consider this to fall online throughout many jurisdictions anytime soon, because this is a cash cow that's about to be culled. And they don't want that. They don't want to jeopardize the golden goose. Especially from those responsible fathers that a woman just points at and says, yeah, that's him. Get him to be my child's father. They don't want that gravy chain to end. Right?
Share some of these comments, see what the people have to say first.
Okay, we're going to leave it right there with Chisa Zed. Thank you very much to Chisa Zed. He's doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. But let's go on to another jurisdiction that has banned paternity testing and rewards paternity fraud with $15K. This is coming from, again, Manosphere Highlight Daily. I've featured them before. Sign up to Manosphere Highlight Daily, doing wonderful things in YouTube streets. He's brought it to our attention that France has outlawed paternity testing because they know that a man's funds from legal or illegal, fraudulent or truthful knowledge of a man's paternity will only injure the state in a massive way. So they don't want to do this. So again, France has gone on record to say they are banning paternity testing. So if you're on the hook, you're on the hook. Let's get into this from Manosphere Highlights Daily. Shout out to them. Fair use, fair use, fair use. And I'm gonna show you a remedy that indeed will go forward to help fathers in and of itself. But let's go.
Secrets, expose criminals, and unlock truths. But a paradox emerges when we consider the divergent ways DNA testing is applied in different scenarios. One thing is certain in these situations: men end up paying the price, justified and unjustified. This is the paradox of DNA testing. The opening video clip features a part of a presentation by Emmanuel Macron, the current president of France, highlighting that half of single-parent households are not receiving the appropriate level of child support. Of course, we are shown an image of a woman because women are running the majority of single-parent households. In 2021, France launched a government service that will take child support payments directly out of parents' bank accounts if they don't pay them. Under the new system, any mother or father can request the new government service, regardless of whether the other parent disagrees. Once in place, the service handles the payment of the money until the child is 18.
Stop that there for a second and think about that. It is dangerous to be a father in France these days. Dangerous. If you're found to be a father, if you're found to sign a birth certificate, as it says, under the new system, sort of the fro of France, the family responsibility of France, any mother or father can request a new government service, regardless of whether the other parent disagrees, to handle payment from the accused father or mother until the child is 18. So therefore, if they point and say, let's use you, Richard. You, Richard, you're the dad. You're on the hook for the next 18 years. No ifs, ands, or buts. They want let me tell you something. The government wants their money and they want it now. Now. And in France, they are making sure they're getting it. Hell, they don't want to go through a recession if they don't have to. So get those fathers. If they have to run into debt, so be it. But they have to pay for a child that may not be theirs. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that? Isn't that so not sacre bleu? Isn't that vive la France all day long? Isn't that why the French sing La Marseillaise? I think it's the Marseillaise. I think it's the Marseillaise. The French national anthem. Let me just see. Okay, I got it. Jesus. The Marseillaise, that's the number right there. The Marseillaise. I was getting it wrong there for a second. But isn't that why they sing that song? So that the French Republic can be united in siphoning money away from men. Even if they're innocent.
What if the other parent has valid reasons to object? What if the other parent has substantial evidence to support his objections? In France, there's an anti-paternity testing law that imposes penalties on men who use paternity tests to determine their biological relationship to a child. Ironically, in France, DNA testing is also used to solve criminal cases. Herein lies the complexity of the paradox. Let's chant. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because
all right, let's get in that. And so therefore, let's put that in perspective. They'd rather use DNA testing to capture criminals than use DNA testing to capture another set of criminals. They'd rather use it to catch one set of criminals than another. Isn't that ironic? Nothing more can be said about that. Nothing more. Let me let that sink in. You'd rather use DNA testing to capture one set of criminals in France instead of another set of criminals who are siphoning money, succubusing money out of men off a false accusation. Again, you can't make this shit up.
Arriving for class in La Rochelle as an unprecedented police operation gets underway. All 475 male students and 31 male teachers at this private Catholic high school are being asked to give a DNA sample. The school's director says it's the last chance to find out who raped a 16-year-old girl in a dark school toilet here last September.
I don't know why this took so long, but it's not right. The person who did it may have been at the school for the last 7 months. It's horrible.
Police say genetic material recovered from the girl's clothing did not match any profiles in the national DNA database. 21 males who were at the school on the day of the attack have been asked for a saliva sample, as well as teachers and pupils. The local prosecutor says people refusing to take part will become, quote, potential suspects who could be taken into custody.
So let this sink in. Went to a high school, there's a bit of rough and tumble. The woman, the teenager doesn't know who the father is, so they decided to test the whole high school to find out who the father was. Just so that they could get her off the public roll, off the dole, off welfare, off child support from the state. Do you believe this? They'd rather ruin the privacy of young men in that high school so they could find that one who may or may not have got this woman pregnant. Amazing. Just amazing. What can I say? We're coming back to the third hour. We're going to finish it up in a bit, but I want to get through this and then and then we'll get to some remedies and we'll talk about that in a bit. But I want you to stay tuned. Thank you very much for joining me in Talk Live and direct from the city of Toronto. Like, subscribe, comment, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Talk soon. Yes, we're still live here on Talk Live, so we're going to get into this and continue.
Angered some in the legal system, but pupils here welcomed the testing.
Everyone's taking part without any problems because we feel solidarity with the girl who was raped, and we all want to find the perpetrator.
Now remember, there's a little caveat in there. If you're here on Talk Live, thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment, on the road to 1,000 subscribers. There's a bit of a caveat here in that rough and tumble wasn't actually a rape. So it's a serious issue. And again, apologies if I was taken out of context or if I misunderstood what was going down here. But the story remains the same. Yes, you want to participate in the investigation. However, an innocent may be left on the hook for the crime. Okay? And but again, the young men are being quite forthright in trying to help this lady out any way they can in order to find out who the culprit is in the school. Although I would have thought that she would have known who raped her, but apparently doesn't. Selective memory, some sort of psychological issue. But again, we are here, we are now, and we're moving forward. Again, so let's continue with this.
In criminal investigations, DNA testing has become an indispensable tool. It has helped solve countless cases, bringing perpetrators to justice, but also cleared suspects from wrongful accusations, thereby safeguarding the principles of fairness and accuracy in the legal system. From what you've just seen in the clip, men are easily willing to collaborate with the authorities in order to identify the perpetrator. There are a few reasons behind this willingness. First off, because of how awful the incident is. Then there is that burning need for justice. And let's not forget, they've got nothing to hide. It's guilty until proven innocent. However, it's this part of this clip that I want you guys to keep in mind.
The local prosecutor says people refusing to take part will become, quote, potential suspects who could be taken into custody.
Doesn't that sound logical? If a man declines to cooperate with a procedure, like DNA testing in this instance, which can accurately identify matches, he automatically becomes a suspect. This idea is something most people would probably agree with. Like I always say, focus on the information that's consistent. 1. DNA testing is highly accurate. Number 2. DNA testing results can either convict suspects or exonerate them from false accusations. Number 3. Opting out of DNA testing puts you under the radar as a potential suspect.
And yet, they ban paternity testing in France. All those things apply. All those rules apply to paternity testing in France and should be allowed to remain on the books. However, not the case. DNA testing is highly accurate. Absolutely. DNA testing can either convict or suspects or exonerate them from false accusations. Absolutely. Opting out of DNA testing puts you under the radar as a potential suspect. Absolutely. So why isn't DNA testing allowed for men to exonerate themselves from having to pay child support for 18 years? Because it is a crime. But again, to the Republic of France, it isn't.
put you under the radar as a potential suspect.
Next, fill out the sample envelopes. Then, to collect a DNA sample, just rub the swab inside your cheek for about 15 to 20 seconds. Finally, put the paperwork and samples into the postage-paid envelope and then drop it in any mailbox. That's it.
However, the paradox becomes evident when we shift our focus to paternity testing in France. In a contradictory move, while DNA is employed to catch criminals, it's illegal to use DNA testing to establish biological parentage in some contexts. Let's read. This is from the French site called Le Guichet du Savoir, which means the knowledge desk.
On the issue of genetic testing, the bioethics law lays down major principles regarding the carrying out of examinations of people's genetic characteristics. Genetic examination can only be carried out for medical, legal or scientific research purposes, and only in authorized laboratories. Outside this framework, obtaining a DNA test remains illegal in France and punishable by a fine of €3,700. The Criminal Code also provides for a 1-year prison sentence or a fine of €15,000 for seeking the identification of a person by their genetic fingerprints outside the cases provided for by law.
The whole ban on paternity testing.
So therefore, they've made it so that they put deterrence in place so that men don't get themselves tested. $3,700 fines, a year in jail, just to find out if a child is yours. Because it's clear the French government do not want to take away a huge revenue stream. Nothing more that can be said. And if it takes putting it into law that you can use DNA testing for criminal matters, but cannot use DNA testing for a criminal matter perpetrated by certain females, well, that's your luck, right? That's your luck.
Has brought about some really gut-wrenching situations. Imagine this. Guys who aren't actually the biological fathers are still on the hook to pay up for kids who aren't even theirs. It's seriously messed up and can mess with their emotions and wallets big time. Let's read.
French officials believe that home paternity test kits contribute to the promotion of family disagreements and arguments which may lead to family breakups. Hence the reason why home genetic tests are deemed illegal.
Stop there. Let's read that once more. French officials believe that home paternity test kits contribute to the promotion of family disagreements. And arguments which may lead to family breakups. That's their justification for banning DNA testing. If that is the biggest crock of I don't know what there is, listen. How they justify banning DNA testing through family disagreements, arguments, and which may lead to family breakups is an absolutely travesty of justice. It is stunning. They try to sugarcoat this by saying that it's going to cause issues in the home. So therefore, ban it anyway. Makes no considerable sense. Tell it like it is. It's putting fraud on the books. Literally. It's literally putting the crime of fraud, paternity fraud, on the books. Stunning.
You think? Of course this is going to contribute to family disagreements and arguments, especially when 1/3 is not the biological father, and this is without mandatory DNA testing. So the facts stay the same. But in this situation, they're going against each other. And that's where the story takes a turn.
Gabriel Cornejo came to Harris County Family Court hoping he wouldn't have to leave common sense at the door.
I've never thought that in my life I would have to defend myself for something that I'm innocent of.
Cornejo is a father. He's raising his 3 kids and 2 of his brother's children. But last year tells us a deputy showed up at his door with court papers claiming the state of Texas thinks he has another child.
She turned out to be 15, 16 years old at the time, I think.
Cornejo claims he never knew and pretty much immediately set out to meet his then 16-year-old daughter for what he says was the first time.
She's a wonderful girl. Very smart. Just a lot going on for herself.
He, his wife, and the ex-girlfriend he broke up with 16 years ago all agreed he should get a DNA test, and he did.
Well, the results came in and I'm not the father.
But that's not the end of the case, not even close. Cornejo's ex still wants the money, and so does the state of Texas.
So why the contradiction? On one hand, DNA testing is embraced for its role in delivering justice. On the other, privacy concerns and the potential disruption of family dynamics have led to the banning of DNA testing in paternity cases in France. Like I always say, follow the money. This whole presentation of Macron is catered to women. It has a feminist narrative.
La culture de l'égalité sera présente dès le plus jeune âge pour lutter contre les inégalités à la racine, les représentations, ce qui s'ancre dans les cerveaux et crée ensuite les autocensures. La charte des jouets que nous avons lancée en 2021 aura été reconduite chaque année, ce qui nous aura permis de tourner la page des rayons filles ou garçons dans les magasins de jouets ou dans les librairies. Fini les aspirateurs offerts aux futures petites ménagères et les boîtes à outils uniquement destinées aux petits garçons.
So, if you didn't catch that, basically he's fostering female empowerment by saying that you should not be forbidden to get what's coming to you, even if you have to lie about it. Even if you have to, we're going to make it so that you can walk in, point out someone that you deem the father is, or someone who signed on to a birth certificate, not having to prove that they are the father, and we'll make it so that you are probably taken care of for the next 18 years. Because we don't want that issue. We don't want that problem. If that is one of the most shocking laws I've ever seen instituted in Western society. Shocking. And it did it in a guise of female empowerment. Saying that you should go for what's yours. You should get what's coming to you. Even if you have to lie about it. We'll back your play. Because we don't want that responsibility. Simply a farce. A democratic farce. And to top it all off, even Mr. Macron, the French Prime Minister, narrates this public service announcement. You can see live on YouTube. Stunning, stunning, stunning from the French Republic. But, hey. I'm not going to go there. But anyway, it's an absolute travesty of justice.
L'égalité sera définitivement ancrée dans notre culture, sans assignation de rôle dès l'enfance. La promotion de l'égalité et du respect, initiée dans les écoles avec la mise en place de référents égalité, continuera de se déployer et ouvrira l'horizon de possibles aux petites filles comme aux petits garçons. À l'école primaire, au collège, au lycée, de plus en plus de filles voudront être ingénieures, entrepreneuses, chirurgiennes, directrices de chantier ou encore présidentes de la République. Et de jeunes garçons voudront devenir infirmiers, aides à domicile ou puériculteurs.
Now, wow. Ain't that something? They want women to take on male roles while they want men to take on Oh my God. Even though through every incentive possible, women aren't doing these things. But hey. They want the men to be the leaders of society while I mean, they want women to be the leaders of society while men take on more feminine roles, even though they're hated for doing so. You can't make this stuff up. Just can't. Just can't. I have a lower amount of respect for Mr. Macron. This is a travesty. But anyways. Such is how things are in Western society, that men don't want to be a part of it anymore. Let's go.
Politics and economics go hand in hand. Our video, Paternity Fraud is Organized Crime, reveals the truth about why these laws are not being changed.
However, the Tennessee Department of Human Services says if made into law, their department could be at risk of losing about $52 million in federally matched dollars.
I guess the concerns that we have is that the bill would possibly put us out of compliance with the federal regulations.
After speaking with attorneys from the U.S. Department of Human Services, Representative Parkinson says the bill would not affect the money the state receives.
Somebody has to pay for these children, and they know it's going to hit their wallets. That's why they need workhorses. They need slaves. And it doesn't matter if it's the biological father or not. Welcome to the expendables. Remember this?
The local prosecutor says people refusing to take part will become, quote, potential suspects who could be taken into custody.
The reason why women are getting so much flack from men in this space is because in these situations, women are actually quiet when it comes to that equality foolishness.
What I say about women not having to protest outside of a family court or outside of any governmental office, because it's counterproductive, because the state is on their side anyway. Clearly in France they are, especially if they're promoting gender roles to switch and no DNA testing to happen, because they want men to be, indeed, the people who have to, the gender who has to pay out for their participation in society, whether by hook or by crook. So, as will be said here in this Manosphere Daily Highlights show, Manosphere Highlights Daily show, sorry, you must protect yourself at all times or deal with the consequences, especially in France. In France, you have to be deathly afraid of being a man of a certain age there, because government is gunning after you. There's no doubt about that. So you need to protect yourself at all times, especially in France.
This makes them suspect, and the final judgment has been made many years ago. You guilty. Guilty. Women are the perfect accomplices who perpetuate this injustice.
Cornejo's ex still wants the money, and so does the state of Texas.
They're not just unfairly draining men's wallets, but research also confirms they're heavily involved in infidelity, and they don't seem to hesitate when it comes to deceiving their own children and families. The foolishness. That's why these laws are not going to change anytime soon. The people in control benefit from the status quo. The message of this challenge is for men to protect themselves at all times. This starts with awareness. Thank you guys for sharing these videos. I personally learned from many guys in this space. Shout out to the Manosphere. Keep spreading the truth. That's the foundation of the red pill, not that immoral foolishness. If you support that immoral foolishness, you also support this foolishness that's going on with the laws. If you are aware of what's going on, you can make informed choices and understand the consequences of your actions. Fellas, women cannot force us to commit to them. It takes two to tango. She can't get pregnant by herself. She can't marry herself, even though I predict a lot of self-marriages in the future. But let her take half of her own shit. Whichever path you decide to walk in life, remember that there will always be trade-offs. Make sure that the choices you make are truly worth these trade-offs. We men anyway. She.
And he's right. Thank you very much to Manager Highlights Daily. It goes without saying that you need to protect yourself at all times, especially in these circumstances, especially with states going after men hand over fist in order to get whatever they can for them because they don't want to be on the ticket for it. Especially with sexual promiscuity being at an all-time high. There are more women that are going to get pregnant, less men who are going to do it, and quite simply, any money can get it. Anybody could be that guy who is the provider, as it was found by that gentleman in Texas. None of the kids were his, but still the state wanted him to pay because he's been doing such a good job with 3. Why not take 2 more? But I have one final thing to show you, and then we're gonna get out of here. Judge Mathis, listen, he's one of the best TV judges there is in North America, if not the world. And the way he handled this case, especially with paternity fraud, was excellent. Excellent. And I'll let it play out for itself. Let's just see this.
Big talking. Antonio Mosby is not the father. Give it to him.
If more judges were like this, we'd likely have a lot less issues with paternity.
I'll let it play it again.
She's actually blocked on both pages.
And so, are you suggesting that this allegation that you are the father is causing you emotional distress?
Yes,
as
Your
it
Honor.
would.
Yes,
and ma'am, I must tell you, if he is not the father, I am going to grant him a judgment for emotional distress because that is the most extreme stress you could cause to a man.
Yes.
Accusing him. So we're going to get to. I've gotten all the facts I need.
You don't.
The only other question, yes, I do. The fact is, you told me, yes, ma'am. Your facts were okay. Let's read this. You're doing all this big talking. Antonio Mosby is not the father. Give it to him.
If more judges were like this, we'd likely have a lot less issues with paternity fraud.
Let that sink in. And it's truly one of the great remedies that there is, but not a lot of people use it, is that if a father is found to be not the father, he should be able to sue for emotional distress. He should be able to obtain funds for the amount of trauma he'd had to endure being considered on the hook for a child that may not be his at all. I think more states, more jurisdictions, more provinces, more places around the world should institute this. You'll get less women accusing men of paternity fraud if they know their money's on the line for doing it. And again, there has to be mandatory DNA testing, which is eliminated in France. Don't move to France anytime soon, although I have a couple. So let's get into it. Let's just finalize this once and for all. Paternity fraud is one of the great crimes of the last I would say the last generation. One of the great frauds of our time. One of the great crimes of our time. And it goes unpunished, unchecked, and without any sort of recrimination. They'll make it legal for you to sign up to paternity fraud. See the Republic of France. Because governments have an incentive to keep women off of their social roles, and that is through men paying child support. And as they say, have the government match said support payments. So it is up to you men today, please, 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 before you get into any sexual relations whatsoever, make sure you protect yourself. Make sure that you, If not in an open relationship now, this does not apply to open relationships. If you have an open relationship, believe me, you get what's coming. Because you've allowed for another man to enter your life, for your woman to have sex. So therefore, if she becomes pregnant, it's on you, baby. Should have kept it exclusive. But nonetheless, or at least to a point where it favors you and not that woman. I'll not get into that right now because I don't want to face anyone's ire. But you know what I'm talking about. Nonetheless, it is up to you ladies to stop this. Stop it. Because the state of Tennessee has finally made it law that this is a crime, and more states should do the same. They should fall away from the French example, because that is absolute criminality made legal. The court should be ordering the reversing of child support payments. Should be ordering any sort of emotional distress placed upon fathers for being accused of being delinquent on child support payments. They should be there. That should be done already. But the main thing is, for men, you've got to realize that the world is indeed not in your favor in these circumstances. You've got to remain vigilant at all times, especially with ladies who wish to obtain help and through the government wishes, through their own whims. You must understand that the government's not on your side in this instance. There are many agencies the government has at its disposal to collect child support for their female folk because it's simply good for them to do so. It's profitable for them to do so. It is a cash cow that cannot be killed. Especially when men pay into the state en masse. They can't afford to lose that money. So it's going to be a long journey before this is actually ended and that more states sign on to the state of Tennessee and more jurisdictions throughout the world do so as well. You got to realize that. So protect yourself at all times because the world is changing and men, you are responsible for it whether you like it or not. Thank you very much for joining me at Talk Live on this look at paternity fraud. I hope you protect yourself. I hope you realize that the law is on your side. The government is not on your side when it comes to the subject, and you must keep your ink dry in this issue, to say the least. But thank you very much for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We'll be back either tomorrow or Thursday, but I'm looking forward tomorrow with another topic to discuss. We have a few more topics to discuss again. Joe Smith issue. We have just Pearly Things issue. And I have one more. I think I'm going to do this tomorrow. With regards to how children are raised these days, and how one instructor is fed up about it. So we'll discuss that tomorrow on Talk Live. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to just grab something to eat and watch a bit of this basketball. Raptors lost tonight. Anyway, I saw not the greatest of efforts in the third and fourth quarter, but we're going to get into that and we'll see that soon. But I hope you have a great night and we'll speak to you soon. Look out for IG and YouTube and more clips. I'm moving in towards getting those clips out, those shorts out on IG, on TikTok, and on Instagram. There it is. I was forgot about that. But yes, I have a way of doing that right now so I can get my shorts done. So I'll be doing that as time goes on. I may just get onto it tonight. So again, look out for those this week. Yes, I'm working on it this week. So thank you very much for joining me on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And good night from Toronto. And thank you very much for joining me at Talk Live tonight on IG and YouTube, here on YouTube. Great discussions with a few of our guests. a few of our contributors, and I thank you very much for them joining me tonight. But this will be automatically uploaded on YouTube. But as I was saying, shorts, clips to be uploaded to TikTok, to Facebook, to IG, to YouTube as well. Yes, we're going all out in due course. And we're just going to get out of here and say thank you very much for joining me at Talk Live. But like, subscribe, comment, and road to 1,000 subscribers. We need to get up to 1,000 subscribers with these shorts. Believe me, I am on it. So look for it, and we'll speak to you soon. Good night from Toronto.